of questions that we've got that I've been just taking notes on for Coach. Do a little extra surfing as well, as we'll have a lot of fun with Coach tomorrow. We'll have to update Henry T on players he cannot ask about, because I don't think everybody is officially in yet. I don't think I've seen everybody's John Hancock hit there yet. So we'll have to make sure T is up and up on his stuff.
Well, or I'm hoping that Fred knows he's got a radio interview coming tomorrow. We got to get all this.
Hey, yeah, he's like, guys, listen,
guys, I'm talking to T tomorrow.
And it's going on this local show called the Morning Hookup. I got to have everybody in.
Because Charlie Baker is going to be listening, waiting for those NCAA.
Yeah. I mean, there'll be a lot of ears on it tomorrow, obviously. It's interesting. We're so blessed that we get a chance to have that. And thank you to Henry T. Buchanan the last 5+ years with him has brought us so many different former players, gave us the avenue to have Coach Hoiberg, because not everybody gets to coach on the local level. So we're blessed to be able to do that. And we want to make it right as we ask those questions. And with that, we know that there's probably university years listening as well, because it's like, hey, this isn't our stage, here's my air quotes, interviews with the stock questions. Make sure it doesn't get too far off the rails with Coach.
I think we're fully planning on diving into the weeds.
Figuratively. Some of this stuff that we've been either asked us to maybe, partake and ask the questions. Oh, there's a lot with Coach. Getting to know Coach, that's what it's all about. And we'll talk some hoops with him as well. Cinco de Mayo Taco Tuesday. What a perfect storm. What did my wife send me on this? She said, told I would read this today because she thought it was the best thing ever sent to me. Where'd it go? Oh, he says, this, Instagram reel. This year, Cinco de Mayo falls on Taco Tuesday. This is it, people. This is what we've been training for. What do you think her mind is right now? Where do you think it is? Solely on Taco Tuesday.
1 million tacos?
Yes.
Or you get like 5 tacos and 1 million Coronas.
Is this one of the best perfect storms ever? Now that this is landed, it's all gone. Mind blown, right? For people. Can you think of any other perfect storms? Whether dates, whether it be I know people talk about their golden birthdays, right? Their golden birthdays. You turn 21 on the 21st. That'd be one oh, baby, watch out. I'm going to turn 21 on whatever month of the 21st. Could be the sports equinox. Perfect storm.
I got a small one here, but it's one of my favorite holidays.
Yeah. Let me guess. 4th of July.
It is.
You look like a pyro.
Yeah.
The mustache gave it away.
And with whatnot, it's every 6 years, right? Correct?
Yeah.
If my math is right here, that the 4th of July falls on a Saturday.
Ooh, yes, I think you're right.
And this year, the 4th of July falls on a Saturday.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is great for 2 reasons. One, it means the national holiday gets bumped up to a Friday.
Yeah, which means you get the day off.
So not only do you get to really enjoy that 3rd of July, but the 4th of July, you're guilt-free because next day is a Sunday,
Yeah, you just let it loose.
Hey, it's a
giddy up.
Mini bender.
Mini bender. I love it. It just made me think, as I was thinking about that this morning, it's like Cinco de Mayo, there's another part of Taco Tuesday. Because, deemed Taco Tuesday every Tuesday. Now you get, watch out. Bad day to be a taco, bad day to be a margarita for a lot to people.
Margarita, Corona,
Pacifico, Dos Equis, whatever the case is.
I think to me, I'm going for the lighter-ish Mexican beer, not like the dark, the dark Corona, whatever, like the light. I think I'm going Modelo.
Mm-hmm. My wife's going to go, I don't know. She's so all over the place sometimes. Currently, I think it's Pacifico is where she's going to go.
Modelo and Pacifico.
That's currently
I'm taking both those over Corona.
That's currently her trend right now. If I were to guess today, my trend would be Crown and water and tacos.
Right. But have a tequila and water.
I can't. Ugh, no. There's too many bad memories of that. Speaking of perfect storms, 21st birthday. Yikes.
Ooh.
Still there. It's 27 years past. It's still there. Just made me think, is there sports the sports perfect storms for you. I think Minnesota fans might say the other night was one for them. Twins won, Wild won, the T-Wolves won, which we're going to get to them later on today in the show about NBA and those the second round matchups that are often running right now. So it's a lot.
We also want maybe drop a chat on our YouTube page here if you've heard anything. Are there any Mexican spots tonight doing any Taco Tuesday deals? They ramping up the prices because it's Cinco de Mayo.
You know what they should be doing.
Yeah.
The right business person would make those tacos more expensive.
But you pass it off as a deal.
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday deal.
You're
5 tacos.
I mean,
$12.
You know how it goes, like in the retail stores. What I'm not dogging you by this. I mean, come on, it's the business. Like this is the sale rack. That used to be $10. Now it's $20. We're gonna give you 10% off. Watch out. Whoa, they got a sale here? It happens. It happens. It's a lot like buying flowers for your significant other on Valentine's Day.
Isn't Amazon used to do that and has since changed it up because it came to light that they were just making up fake prices and then striking them out and putting the very normal price and save 33%.
Not surprising.
So now, like that's why Amazon, if you go on the app, they have like the see price history, so you can actually see where the price is fluctuating.
I'm going to be transparent today. Shane says Tacos Los Hermanos, 7th and Havelock is having a big Cinco de Mayo celebration. I think all of them
it's a good spot near my house.
I think all of them are out there.
Tacos Los Hermanos, they do something that you get the juices flowing because they take their meat and they have like the flat top and the grill outside.
Oh, see, that's done deal.
So you're just driving by and you get all those aromas and it's like, oh man.
Why does it feel like anything done outside like that is money? We went to, and we're going to get to sport. It's kind of a sport. When I did a golf trip to San Antonio, we played Briggs Ranch out there, and it's a Dormy Network course, and they don't have your traditional cart with like your clubhouse food. They do, but that's not the way the course flows. After 9, they have this old pickup truck, cool pickup truck that they gutted out and made the inside like a cooler for all the beers. And they did a flat top grill in the back where the tailgate would be, serving tacos. Serving tacos. And they were, depending on the day, your choices were chicken, beef, chorizo, and they do some striped tacos too. Brisket, depending on the day. That was your make the turn. You know, you make the turn to go back to number 10, you get your snack shop. That was their stop. And it was just outside. You see smoking, just onions, peppers, all that. Then they took it and they put it together with the cheese and flip it and grilled the actual. Oh! But again, happy Cinco de Mayo, happy Taco Tuesday.
Speaking of golf, I have some heartbreaking news. Yesterday, walked 9 after work.
Mm-hmm.
It got cold and windy last night.
Yeah, it's a tough day.
It
was weird.
Tea time was like 7.
It turned
right
on.
at 7. It like
it turned.
We sat there warming up, and it's like fine. And then like 5 minutes away from teeing off, we a group ahead of us to kind of clear the fairway, and then where'd that wind come from?
Yep.
It just got worse and worse.
That's when you go back and ask for a refund. Can we just get a rain check?
I'll say I was playing one ball all night. The Slim Chickens.
You played it all night
until hole 8.
No!
If you're familiar with hole 8 at Mahoney, not my best tee shot. Left me a 7-iron over the water.
In the dunk tank. That's okay. Some eventually over the all season, that ball will come back and be resurrected. But it'll be in a group of reloads and approach.
The problem is if I wanted to lose it in a place where somebody could find me. Oh, look at this Slim Chickens ball. But unfortunately, it's gonna have to be one where they go pull the ball.
That's all right. That's okay. I'll make a stop over there once the building gets resurrected, just to say hi to the Mahoney.
That timing could work out well. The new building now could be about when they're pulling that wheel. But yeah, we got 2 left.
That's why
I got more. Reloaded from the same spot, dunked it again, and then moved myself up to 20 yards. Hit a 9-iron, good 9-iron in with a different ball. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't be sorry. There's more. Let's jump into this. I want to talk volleyball, man. Look what's happening in the volleyball world. You know, it's fresh off the press. The conversation here is about probably what Nebraska volleyball has done for the country. Okay, I think that cannot be said enough. Their stardom, volleyball day at Nebraska, what it did, not just for Nebraska, but for the state, but for the country. As you start to look at what these schedules are like, and from the NIL money perspective, what's happening? We all know that basketball, right? They went from the March Madness, then they got the whatever. Then they introduced the crown to you. Why was the crown so significant for people? Or some of the preseason tournaments that they do out in Vegas, right? The preseason tournaments where you get invited out to Vegas, there's money involved. The crown introduced. Nebraska, we know, goes out and wins it. We win some dollars. Look at what Nebraska's schedule is starting to look like. And you're starting to get a glimpse of one, like I said, what Nebraska volleyball did. You like yesterday they announced a home and away series for Big Ten, which like we'll get to that. That's not even the story. Go back and look now. Go back a few months ago, probably Wrigley Field gets introduced. Nebraska, September 6th, will be in Wrigley Field taking on Missouri outdoor. Then you get word late like this morning, Nebraska volleyball, Jerry's World. And they're bringing, and it's not like this isn't one of those. And I want to point out the fact that this isn't one of those where it's Nebraska and everybody else. This is Missouri. That's a Big Ten. That's an SEC opponent you're playing. Jerry's World, SMU. We lost them before.
That's a dominant or not dominant. It's a top
level ACC team.
Top level volleyball program.
Penn State.
Top level Big Ten program.
How about what is introduced? We'll bring Florida with us too.
National powerhouse.
My goodness. All, by the way, those four, and they're calling this as Spikes Under the Lights. It will consist of 2 semifinal matches followed by a championship match to claim the prize money. All 3 matches will be best of 3 instead of the typical best of 5. Fast paced. Best of 3, not best of 5. Best of 3. All for what? $1 million. Wow. The sport of volleyball has been lifted up and in the forefront, but I mean, not solely, but a lot to do with Nebraska. A lot to do with Nebraska.
And my question is going to be, because I know you sold out Memorial Stadium. Jerry World's, what is it? Is it the biggest NFL stadium?
It's got to be, right? It's got to be.
I know it holds north of 80,000.
Well, I think that's the capacity is 80.
Okay.
Rough. I think I've seen 80 where this has potential to get to 100 based on, I mean, again, like Memorial Stadium, right? We got to what was that 92 and some change, 92,000, 91? I can't remember the full number. I know it's a record at the time.
Yeah, it's still the record. It's the
largest women's event.
It's the largest event in Memorial Stadium history.
Yes. It's also national, like globally, was one of the largest women's events.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's, by the way, public tickets go on sale May 8th. Whoa, that's Friday. If you want to go to this, it's in August. It's in August, right? I think I saw that it's in early August. Yeah, I think it's August, sometime in August. But they're saying it's 80,000 upwards. It could get to upwards of 100 based on court, all that, how they design this. It's going to have a feeling of a like Memorial Stadium did, right? It's going to have a feeling of a Final Four look for college volleyball. Wow. I just thought, I'm like, wow. But my thoughts went, what Nebraska volleyball did the last so many years. Well, again, I want to go back to it. I know it's one of those things you like to hear, you don't like to hear. John Cook said, dream big. And now you're seeing it come to life in the sport of women's volleyball. Year in and year out.
And it's great to see the rest of the country, because we around here at Nebraska have known how special volleyball is, how fun of a spectator sport it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see the rest of the country come around in terms of, volleyball is extremely watchable. That's the best way to put it. It's extremely watchable. It is a sport that feels like it's made, not just made for TV, but made for spectators. And there's not all sports are like that. Like I know a lot of people, one of the issues people have with soccer is it's not necessarily a sport that's made for spectators, because across a 90-minute game, there is 3 to 4 minutes of really, really good action, really exciting stuff. for the casual fan, the casual fan, I mean, it's points that are lasting 10 to 15 seconds, which attention span wise, about perfect. It's back and forth action. There's not much downtime.
There's zero downtime. Even I love it. One, it's fast paced. I go a lot. We go a ton to these matches. This is probably going without saying how athletic they are.
Oh, yeah.
I know we watch it on TV, but seeing live, like not just Nebraska. Nebraska's uber athletic. Just I think it's the class of the entire country athleticism. On the other side, still get athletic, but just the way they do it and how fast paced they are and the energy in it, it's amazing. They also introduced, by the way, last one, forget to Robin here in a minute. They'll host. They gave you the Big Ten schedule, not the actual schedule, but the home and away. This year at the new revamped, revitalized Devaney, you'll get Illinois, Iowa at home, Minnesota, Ohio State, Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, USC, and Wisconsin coming to town. How about that? Their travel schedule sent them to Indiana, Maryland, Michigan State, Northwestern. Big ones against Oregon, Penn State, and Washington on the road. It's ramping up to be one of the most historical scheduling seasons in Nebraska volleyball history. And there's other ones I'm still possibly out there. I've heard a possible series against Baylor, other things coming up.
And not this conversation is probably happening a little early, but you look at the senior class.
Woo!
Bergen Riley, Andy Jackson, Harper Murray, like that senior class, Hooksy, if they end their Husker careers without a national championship, it's a real conversation to have. Now, it's something we have talked about plenty on this show. Winning a national championship, no matter how great you are at volleyball, is very, very hard. And last year, sickness ravaged the Husker volleyball team at the worst time last year. That's one of the factors that comes into this. Is there's a little bit of luck that's involved in winning a national championship, but also with the opportunities they've had over the last 3 years.
It's been right there. It'll be something to monitor, something to watch. But again, you can also go look at schedule-wise and look at this and go, all right, this is the type of schedule that you play to be read. Because Cook would tell you at times it was harder to win the Big Ten than it was the national championship. But this type of schedule is really ramping it up.
And one more factor looking ahead here, it's a sport we haven't really talked about with this. That was 5-for-5 change volleyball. And how's it change Husker volleyball?
Boy, that's a grandest conversation, especially with limited numbers and the way they recruit. Could change it a lot. So, all right, good. So let's take a break. Let's come back. We'll go to the hardwood. We'll talk with Husker Online's Robin Washington. What the freak? Yeah, buddy.
So I got a problem, Hooksy.
Los problemas.
Left my house.
Yeah.
5 minutes earlier today. Arrived 4 minutes later.
How's that? Yeah. Oh boy. This is construction conversation, isn't it?
It is construction conversation. Don't get me started.
I was gonna I even wrote it down. I was gonna have like a positive construction conversation, but I'm not going to.
No.
Because my new route, I'm a creature of habit. I'm getting to I'm still getting here about normal, maybe a little behind schedule usually for me. But you know what I do get to see? The same gentleman every morning walking his two dogs, and then we wave to each other. I don't know the guy. Older gentleman. We got two corgis walking around. Every time I hit the same corner, he's like, and that's a cute little neighborhood I keep going through too. It's kind of cool. I will drive down this. It's 40. It's right over here.
Yeah.
Kids are hanging out, sitting on the side. They're waiting on the bus. You know? I'm trying to find positives in construction. But I don't know if it's actually working.
It's a different type of community up here in North Lincoln. Hopefully.
Yeah. Good morning, Shane. Good morning, Flexton. Good morning, Todd. It's cute little. I'm learning about spots that I've never seen before. I'm trying here, okay?
Let me get Robin on the line.
Wash it. You wash your mouth. Wash it. I gotta ask Robin this question. I'm like, Robin. Welcome back to the Morning Hookup. Happy Tuesday. It's been our guy from hustleline.com. Robin Wash. What's up?
What's happening?
You doing okay? Have you got the chance to watch? I had a conversation the other day about wood chips versus mulch.
Oh yeah.
Did you survive?
Yeah,
Did you survive?
there's apparently a massive difference there that we got corrected. So crisis averted on that one.
Well, that's good. I knew that you thought you had a carload of something. You had to go back for another carload. I'm glad that you survived and everyone around you survived.
Wait, we're talking carload here
Yeah.
or truckload?
No carload.
Carload.
Yeah, man.
Toss that in the trunk?
Yeah, in the tunk, man. Yeah.
It's a crossover, so they're a little bit extra trunk space.
It's a crossover. You sound like soccer dad just then, but yeah, it was amazing.
We got 10 bags of mulch in that thing. There's some good height in that trunk.
Oh gosh, Robin diverted crisis. I do know that on a lot of different levels. Doing this,
No doubt about it.
Oh man, hey, Wash, we're gonna talk hoops for sure about probably more of the roster and things like that. But we were just talking Nebraska volleyball and scheduling, and you've probably seen a lot of the way Nebraska volleyball has elevated the country's volleyball and their scheduling now that we're gonna be at Wrigley Field and AT&T Stadium and all that stuff. As Nebraska basketball continues to get better, right? Let's say that again, they just had 4 straight or whatever 20-win seasons in a row. You just made the Sweet 16. Can we expect or hope to see future better opponents if Nebraska goes on a run and makes the tournament, I don't know, for whatever years in a row, can we expect or hope to see better opponents? Either we're going to places or we get better opponents here in PBA?
Yeah, and that comes with winning. It's got to get to the point where other power programs, like I'm talking about like the top programs in college basketball specifically, view Nebraska as not as much risk compared to reward. And unfortunately, Nebraska is still in that the risk is too high, because what teams want to do now in scheduling is play, like even the idea of home and homes is starting to go by the wayside. They're all getting replaced by these single play neutral site games where it's kind of a way to manipulate the net, where you play a really good team that, so for one, from a strength of schedule standpoint, you're not going to get dinged if you lose. It's like, all right, well, no big deal, you lost to a really good team, and so like you're not punished that way. When you play in a neutral site, one, you don't have to play in a true road environment, and two, you don't run the risk of having a home loss, and three, you get rewarded more because you're playing off your home court. So like that's kind of the direction that a lot of these marquee non-conference games are heading, is towards the neutral site, single play games. And Nebraska's doing one already with Providence out at Mohegan Sun this year. So like that's kind of what the way this is going now. But Nebraska, unfortunately, they're still a few like really prominent seasons away from, I think, getting into that territory where like a team like let's just say North Carolina would give them the time of day. Because right now, North Carolina playing Nebraska does far more for Nebraska than it would for North Carolina. North Carolina beats Nebraska on a national level, they're not going to get rewarded for it. Whereas if Nebraska beats North Carolina and Atlanta or something like that, then yeah, Nebraska, that's a great win for them. That's a signature victory. So it's just a matter of, just continued success. Nebraska needs to maintain itself among the top of the basketball food chain in order for those other schools in that category to start viewing them as, a opponent that they can schedule that isn't going to have quite as much quote unquote risk as it is right now. So it's kind of just, it's an unfortunate state of college basketball scheduling. It gets worse the lower down you get. Like you hear Miami of Ohio's coach saying, like, we've called every team in the country, nobody will play us. It's like, just kind of like a good old boys club now, where like the quote unquote blue bloods will only play each other, and they kind of X out anybody else to give them a chance to play in those types of games. And unfortunately for now, Nebraska is kind of on the outside looking in terms of playing those like top of the line, high profile non-conference games.
Just tell me you're scared without being scared.
Yeah, North Carolina.
Pretty much.
Scared. What, travel?
Yeah,
too
come on,
far
Heels.
to travel?
Maybe Malone will bring, a little bit more boldness to their schedule making, but we'll see.
Yikes.
Well, so with that in mind, as Nebraska does fill out their non-conference schedule, are there any teams that you think, maybe not you're hearing, but like it's the level Nebraska right now could realistically go out and schedule? I mean, you see Oklahoma at the Pentagon. That feels like a team that's kind of in that realm of teams that would be willing to potentially get an opportunity off a win against Nebraska. Any other teams out there, maybe hypothetically, that you think would fit the bill?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen them, like the old Big 8, Big 12 teams, the Kansas States and the Oklahomas. And, I think that there's a chance that, Nebraska could add another neutral site game to its schedule. Hearing a lot of buzz around Kansas City. And that would be a game that would make total sense for one of those renewed old conference rivalries. Missouri is a school that has gotten some traction. So, if you can add a game against a team like Missouri, which, still has a solid brand, it's not Duke or Arizona, but, it's still a quality non-conference power conference game, and a neutral site that kind of plays into that new trend that I was talking about. Like that's kind of the ideal formula for Nebraska right now. So like those are the types of games you're looking at. Like I know for a fact they've contacted everyone. They've called North Carolina, they called Duke, they called Arizona, they called Texas, they called all the big brands. And anybody that has even like returned their phone calls or messages says that, all right, well, we're not going to play in a single play. We're going to do a home and home, and you have to come here first. And, for this season, Nebraska's already going to Creighton. They're already playing Providence and Connecticut. They're already, maybe playing Missouri and Kansas City. So, like, they really don't have much interest in scheduling another difficult, true road game. So that's kind of been the holdup as far as the home and home series. And so, it just kind of is what it is right now. You can only schedule teams that agree to play you. And right now, nobody wants to play Nebraska because they're too good. And the reward right now, in terms of just the national perception, isn't worth that risk for a lot of teams in their mind.
Again, we're speaking to Robin Wash with HuskerOnline.com. Well, Wash it, men's basketball. They just put out about extensions put out there for assistants, and also one, as you would state as well, a well-earned promotion for Nate Linzer as the associate head coach. Talk about that, the importance, and what do those contracts look like for the assistants? Obviously, they're not, the long-term ones like a head coach would be, but one, that and the importance of having that staff back together again.
Yeah, continuity is a big deal. You hear about roster retention, how important that is. Well, staff retention, I think, is just as big of a deal, especially when you start winning, your coaches become commodities, and that becomes harder and harder to do when other teams want your staff. And so keeping this group together is just as important in my mind, or almost as important as, retaining your top players, just because like this whole like culture identity thing that you've been building, it's significantly easier to keep that going when, you have the same voices, preaching the same messages, teaching the same things. And there's just familiarity and comfort and relationships there that are hard to replicate when you're constantly shuffling your coaching staff year to year. So it's a big deal that way. And then with Nate, I mean, he's a guy that had his name thrown around for some head coaching jobs. I think it's just a matter of time before he's a head coach. Northern Iowa, he was one of the finalists for that job. And I expect that if, he keeps doing what he's doing, more and more options are going to become available to him over the years. So I think the associate head coach title doesn't really change anything with what he does. It just allows Nebraska to pay him more, so he can take an uptick in that coaching salary. And, it's, like I said, well-deserved just because he's as critical as any member of that staff not named Fred Hoiberg to Nebraska's success. So a good news day that they're keeping the staff together. All three assistants and their GM, Luca Virgilio, and Nate get the promotion that was a long time coming. And Nebraska's getting the band back together and then keeping things rolling after, kind of a historic season for them.
As you look ahead to next year, Robin, one of the names, Damon Wilkinson, I want to get your thoughts on, because this team, it's always difficult whenever you're reloading to try to replace guys and maintain a similar culture. There's a lot of vetting that has to be done, not just with the player, but with kind of the personality and the guy behind the scenes. And I want to get your thoughts on Wilkinson, because he strikes me as the right culture fit whenever I first read this story. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but did you know he was actually shot his sophomore year of high school on a hunting trip? His dad talked about the fact that, hey, through that whole process, he was fine, brave, and then one of the doctors told him, hey, you're probably not going to be able to play basketball for a little while. And his dad said that's the only time I ever saw him cry during the whole process, whenever he realized he was going to have to miss some time playing basketball. Well, the amount of time he missed was 9 days. He got shot in the stomach on a hunting trip, came back 9 days later and dropped 20 and 20. That's a guy that just loves basketball. That story kind of underscores that. And I think it kind of shows what type of culture fit he is for this program, what type of culture Fred Hoiberg's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of says it all right there. He's a guy that loves basketball, and that's an important part, because there's a lot of really good players that just play because it's easy for them, or that it's a ticket for them to make money, or get a scholarship or whatever. Like, there's guys that love the game, and then there's guys that just play the game. And I think Wilkinson, as you kind of laid out there, is a kid that loves the game. And when you're about the right things and are willing to do whatever it takes to, succeed, those are the types of people you want in your locker room and on the floor with you. And, that when you talk about going to battle and facing adversity, those are the kind of guys that you want on your side. So we'll see what his role is on the court. I think he's still a depth piece. Like, he's probably going to be right there with Leo, battling for time as that number 2 center. But, he's a multi-year transfer, and those things are worth their weight in gold when it comes to roster construction. And so, even if he does see minimal playing time this year, having him in the program for another year with Leo coming back, then all of a sudden you're not in a situation where you're scrambling to go find another big, which is one of the more expensive things that you can do right now in college basketball. So I think it's a smart addition on a lot of levels for Nebraska. And then just from the culture standpoint, whether he plays or not, just having a guy like that with that mentality and that type of resilience and love for the game, that brings tremendous value in itself.
Well, Robin, speaking of talent and additions, looking ahead, not past this year, next year, but also in the 27 class, sounds like a big one maybe on the horizon. Possibly get your thoughts with an announcement looming tomorrow for 2027 class. Big guy, 6'7" forward, Donovan Davis. Thoughts in the, we're in a battle, looks like, with 4 other schools.
Yeah, so he's got 5 finalists: Nebraska, Iowa State, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Marquette. He's going to make his decision, like you said, tomorrow. 4-star, top 100 player that Nebraska's put a lot of work in with. Right now, I'm not holding my breath for Nebraska this time around. It feels like Iowa State is probably the favorite right now, at least according to recruiting insiders. So that might be the case. But, one thing you always have to keep in mind with high school recruiting is it's not, you don't just get one crack on a guy usually. But oftentimes, there's going to be another round of recruitment down the road that, having this pre-existing relationship and putting in the work now can pay a lot of dividends in a couple years if or when said player decides to reopen his recruitment and hit the portal. So even if they don't get him this time, I would say that, I would not certainly burn that bridge because in this day and age, there's always a pretty good chance that you're going to get another crack at the kid down the road. But, we'll see. It's not entirely ruled out. There could be a late surprise, but if I had to bet right now, I'd say Iowa State is probably the team to beat there.
Robin Wash with us here, HuskerOnline.com. And Robin, before we get you out, I do want a quick, it's kind of a basketball thought, kind of a football thought with Ahmad Hudson. That guy, super talented, dual sport athlete. The two-part question is A, how much do you think Nebraska basketball factored in on the recruiting with Ahmad Hudson keeping Nebraska in the hunt down the stretch? And secondly, with him committing to LSU over the weekend, how much of a loss is that for the basketball team? The question being, realistically, did you see him being a 4-year, two-sport athlete at the next level? How difficult is that going to be for him to pull off?
I think basketball was a very far down the list in that whole conversation. I think Nebraska was just helping out football, saying, yeah, if you get him and he wants to play, we'll save a spot for him. Why not? Like, he's one of the best players in Louisiana, but he's a football recruit. He's a football player that will take priority, and he wouldn't even join the team until January. And even then, you're trying to hit the ground running right in the heart of conference play. So, he won't be ready. Nebraska's already kind of got their rotation settled. So, the opportunity for playing time would be few and far between. So, I don't know. Basketball was just kind of doing a football a solid, saying, yeah, we'll take him if you guys get him. But I don't know if there was any plans whatsoever about building around him, just because it's so hard to do. And there's been examples of Big Ten players like Keon Coleman when he was at Michigan State, Draymond Green when he was at Michigan State, Drake London when he was at USC. They all did it, and they played a lot of football, and then they averaged a minute a game in basketball. So it's the basketball part of it was just kind of a secondary story, which doesn't really impact Nebraska's future roster construction. I don't think it would have had much of any role going forward. It's a loss for football because that was his good sport, but from the basketball perspective, it kind of just is what it is.
Well, watch it also before we get you out of here. It is a perfect storm kind of day. It not only it's Cinco de Mayo and Taco Tuesday converging on one day. What's the go-to? Do you have a go-to on both sides of this? The favorite taco and a favorite beverage that you'll be hopefully getting a chance to enjoy today?
Yeah, just give me we'll start with a premium margarita. So give me a Patron or something. I don't like margaritas with the bottom shelf tequila because they mess with you. And then the tacos, I like really any kind of taco. But if I had to pick one, give me the street tacos, the ones you get at Tipsy Tina's with the flour tortilla with some good seasoned steak, maybe throw a chicken one in there. Or if I'm really feeling zesty, let's get some fish tacos. I love fish tacos, but they've got to be done well. I've had some but they just slap some fish sticks in there, and it's all right, I don't want this. Give me some real mahi fish tacos from San Diego or something like that. So there's layers to it. Depends on where I am. But if I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska, getting a taco, give me a street taco with a premium margarita, and we're off and running.
I'm hungry. I can't wait.
You got me all fired up, too.
I got you, brother. Well, man, we appreciate you, Mr. Washit. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you real soon.
Yep, I got one more thing for you.
Good.
Hi, Bill.
What's up, Remy? What's up? My favorites. Nora and Remy. What's up?
Hi.
They've been waiting patiently this entire interview.
Oh, that's so awesome. You kids be good. Take care of your dad.
All right.
Promises.
See what I got to deal with?
I love it. You guys are great, man. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
Thanks. Robin Wise at HuskerLine.com with his kids. He has great kids, man. He has great stories when I were down in OKC when they were on the phone on FaceTime.
Well, they said hi, Bill, not hi, Bill and Elijah. So
Well,
how
they
good
don't
could
know
they
you
be?
yet.
How good could
They don't
be?
know you yet. We'll get them to
I'm
know you.
offended.
We'll get them to know you. So, all right, let's take a break. We'll come back with This Day in Sports. That was cool. Pretty interesting on the schedule, isn't it? The way I think it's all of college athletics now. What Robin just described on the landscape of scheduling. All this neutral site stuff.
Yeah.
All the preseason Vegas or the whole what Puke is doing with Amazon.
Well, I mean,
It's changing.
To play devil's advocate, whenever you look, we had that conversation with Robin about how the Blue Bloods don't want to schedule Nebraska.
Yeah.
Think about if you're any team out there that gets an invite to go play Nebraska in the Pentagon.
You're like,
that's a road game.
it's a road game.
I'd look at that and it'd be like, yeah, there opportunity there.
Yeah.
It's better the better Nebraska gets.
It's
that opportunity to go out to the Pentagon. But you also look at it, this is a neutral site.
No.
We're going to get 30 fans in there.
Yeah.
And everyone else is going to be Husker fans.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing whenever you look at some of these Blue Bloods. They look at Nebraska and they go, there's an opportunity there. But
yeah, I think
but if you don't win this game, which you know how well Nebraska fans travel.
Yep.
Especially you give them an opportunity to go play a Blue Blood, man, the fans are going to be there. How much it ratchets up the difficulty and you don't get respect for a loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of teams out there you'll get respect if you lose.
Yeah, my whole theme of that was like if Nebraska continues to win at a high level, opportunities open. Because I remember back when they had the ACC Big Ten Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
All we got was Boston College. And was it Boston College and Clemson we always got?
In Georgia Tech. Yeah, Georgia Tech once.
But the Boston colleges would have to come here. We'd have to go there for the Clemson type stuff. It was never like, when do we get North Carolina? But the whole theme is if you continue to have success in the tournament, those doors will open. By
the way, here we do have a late 2026 commitment for the University of Nebraska to talk about with Brian Nelson.
I sold that.
And Legacy too.
Legacy.
So we'll get into that next hour.
One that I was I was there when he made, I don't know, maybe argue one of the biggest catches in a regular season game of all time.
Coming back here.
Yep. Welcome back to the Morning Hookup. Special thanks to Robin Washington, HuskerLine.com, hanging out with us. Hey, I want to go back real quick and get that volleyball thing real quick. I kept reading up on it. What a cool thing. 4 teams, $1 million prize. That's one night, by the way. One night. That's why, because I'm trying to think, why did they just 3 sets? That's out of 3, one night. They play 2 semifinals in the championship in one night. Love that. Dash for cash. We're calling that. You know how to do it down at PBA. They blindfold them. That's what they're doing. You're dashing for $1 million in one night. It could be a lucrative night. There's so much great things going on in Nebraska right now with sports.
What's the most money you've ever made in one night?
Woo-wee. I don't know.
You don't have to answer that question.
Not going there. Hey, by the way, this day in 1904, I know you like the older ones.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you talked about with baseball and how the records they keep and how they just keep them. This day in 1904, Cy Young pitches the first perfect game in modern baseball as the Boston Americans beat Philadelphia Athletics 3-0. And they know that because they kept records back to them.
On this day in 1922, ground was broken on construction for Yankee Stadium in the Bronx.
Whoa. This day in 1938, Major League Baseball, Philadelphia Phillies Harold Kellerner pitcher faced 16 batters in the 6th inning as the Cubs scored 12 runs. Both marks are NL records for one hurler in a single inning. 16 hitters, 12 runs. Somebody go get the guy. Where's the pitching coach?
On this day, 1973, the 99th Kentucky Derby, Secretariat wins it with a still record time, 1:59.4.
And this day in 1969, the Milwaukee Bucks sign number 1 draft pick star from UCLA.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, also back then known as Lou Alcindor.
1978. It's a big day in sports history, by the way. Pete Rose becomes the 14th player to get 3,000 career hits. That's what he's most known for, obviously.
This day in 1955, the last basketball game at the Boston Garden. Celtics eliminated from the playoffs. 1995, last game at the Garden, the historic Garden. It's a lot of them. There are a couple birthdays I think I saw. Boy, maybe definitely one of the top tennis players of our, not maybe of your time, Carlos Alcaraz. Happy birthday. 23 years old.
He's 23 and what?
He's won
Sinner's 21.
This is incredible era for tennis. 2-time U.S. Open champion, 2-time Wimbledon champion, 2-time French Open champion, 1-time Australian Open champion at the age of 23.
Yeah, listen, those two, Alcaraz and Sinner, are going to be battling it out for the next decade in tennis. The next decade. Those are the two names. It's going to be those guys back and forth. They are going to define this era of tennis.
Also in tennis, by the way, I will never get her name right. Arena Sabalenka. I think she's top in the world. Yeah. Is she top in the world?
Sabalenka. Mm-hmm.
She was born in 1998. She is Australian women's singles 2-time U.S. Open twice. Happy birthday. Boy, that went way too fast. Coming up, we'll talk a little NBA. Stunner last night in a record night for a player. I watched 2 periods of hockey last night and an overtime.
Got another good game coming tonight.
Yes, we do. And Brian Munson and a whole lot more. Sit back, relax. Elijah and I will be right back.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hello, I'm Jose Hernandez, and I have been using a wheelchair since my accident in 1995.
My name is Andrea Dalzal, and I've been using a wheelchair since I was 5 years old.
I guess if I had one message for the general public, it would be that I appreciate your help. But please, ask first.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that I've actually got everything under control.
I think people get nervous. They don't know how to act, so they pretend I'm not there.
What probably bothers me the most is when waiters talk to my companion and not directly to me.
I think everyone with a disability can relate to that parking spot problem.
We know you're just parking in that disabled spot for a second, but please, don't. We're just looking for the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
The United Spinal Association is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life of people living with spinal cord injuries and disorders. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
We often think dime or pea-sized hail is no problem, but there are other factors that can impact your roof. This is Matt Berkey with Golden Rule Contractors. Wind gusts of 60 mile an hour or higher can do damage to the integrity of your roof, resulting in small leaks around your home. If there's been high winds and hail in your area, contact Golden Rule Contractors for a free estimate at grclincoln.com. We'll treat your home as if it were our own.
What is dedication? I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much, from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. It really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the Jersey.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. It's the second straight day that the United Arab Emirates says it's taking fire from Iran, as the military today in the U.S. downplays the exchange of fire between the U.S. and Iran in the Strait of Hormuz.
Since the ceasefire was announced, Iran has fired at commercial vessels 9 times and seized 2 container ships. And they've attacked U.S. forces more than 10 times, all below the threshold of restarting major combat operations at this point.
That's General Dan Kane, chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He says the ceasefire is still in place. So does the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who was touting the U.S. operation to help commercial ships travel the vital strait.
American forces won't need to enter Iranian waters or airspace. It's not necessary. We're not looking for a fight. But Iran also cannot be allowed to block innocent countries and their goods from an international waterway.
Vice President J.D. Vance told reporters that he voted for Vivek Ramaswamy in the Republican primary for governor of his home state of Ohio. It's a political day for the vice president. He'll also travel to Iowa to support Congressman Zach Nunn. Texas changed its licensing requirements for summer camps after 25 kids and 2 counselors at Camp Mystic were killed in last summer's flooding. And those upgrades have come with a cost, says ABC's Jim Ryan.
The state now requires camps to have detailed procedures and upgraded equipment. At Mount Lebanon, hundreds of miles from Camp Mystic,
our PA system has to operate without internet, and so we have 2-way radio systems.
Mount Lebanon Director Eddie Walker has spent $100,000 to meet the new requirements. He's hearing from other camps that simply can't afford to upgrade.
The World Health Organization says it's working to evacuate 2 people with suspected hantavirus. They're sick in the outbreak aboard a Dutch cruise ship that's anchored off Africa. It's blamed for 3 deaths on board. You're listening to ABC News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
Public testimony over a minimum wage ordinance. Good morning. I'm Jeff Moats. Cloudy, 52 degrees at KFOR. Several people testify on the proposed minimum wage standard that was before the Lincoln City Council on Monday afternoon. That ordinance from Councilmember James Michael Bowers would maintain the standard approved by Nebraska voters in 2022, establishing a path to a $15 an hour minimum wage and an annual cost of living adjustments. Among those in opposition was Mark LaRue, who's the executive director of schools for Christ Lincoln Church.
Since 2023, we have increased wages by approximately 25% to ensure equity across all staff levels. Not the entire or just the entry level positions. As a result, we've also had to increase tuition on an average of 10% year over year to sustain operations.
Supporting the ordinance is Jean McGuire on behalf of the League of Women Voters who collected signatures for Initiative 433.
Our support was grounded in the League's national position on social policy and meeting basic human needs, which affirms that social policy should promote self-sufficiency for individuals and families. The most effective social program was designed to prevent or reduce poverty, and this measure represents meaningful progress towards that goal.
Council members are expected to vote on the proposal at next Monday's meeting. Lincoln Police released the results from the impaired driving campaign from April 17th through the 20th. The goal was for additional officers across Lincoln to actively look for impaired drivers and keep roadways safe. Officers arrested 21 impaired drivers.
Our stops included 62 traffic stops with 80 citations issued and 20 warnings.
That's LPD Public Information Manager Erica Thomas. The Nebraska volleyball team and 3 other teams will take part in the inaugural Spikes Under the Lights Thursday, August 27th down at AT&T Stadium in Texas that will feature a $1 million prize pool. Cloudy this afternoon, still that slight chance of rain and a high of 61. I'm Jeff Moats, KFOR News.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back in the Morning Hookup. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thinking of Mayo Taco Tuesday. Been texting back and forth trying to make plans. How we fit it in today with practice tonight at 6-8. Also the baseball diamond tonight. Yeah, it could be a late taco Tuesday. You're still dug in. Yeah. Can you make a taco bowl? But you're Italian week, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
you're in the Italian theme this week.
And I was Mexican all last week, and honestly a little before. It's like an 8-day. I had all planned out. So I was going like salsa verde, a little tapatio with my rice. It was like what's the best way to put it? Just a generally Hispanic marinade I put on the chicken. Because
special sauce?
It was like a pollo asado recipe, and then Caleb made fun of me because he's like, that's just grilled chicken. And I'm like, well, yeah.
You know what? But it sounds better, Caleb.
Hey, I found it. I found the recipe online. Okay, it's got to be real.
Everything is real online. Those are the best moments in my house when my kids want to show me something. I'm like, that's fake. I'm like, no, yes, it is. It's fake.
the distinction between AI and reality.
Oh,
It's
it's
becoming
so
a very thin world. Very thin. Coming up, Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. In about 10 minutes, we'll do some stories that we missed. But boy, big night. Kick off a few games. I don't want to say we called it, but we called it in one NBA game. The first one last night. Bad spot for the 76ers in a quick turnaround.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked like it last night. They get thumped by 39 last night, 137-98.
I did see on I won't shout at the show because I don't think they deserve
nobody does.
But
there's only two that deserve shout outs.
It was on ESPN. Big ESPN. And the discussion yesterday midday was which team is more talented?
Ooh.
The 76ers or the Knicks? I remember looking at it and being like, it's the Knicks. And maybe I'm crazy here. I think the 76ers, if he's healthy, have the best player in the series.
Yeah.
In Joel Embiid.
Yes.
But top to bottom, among the guys that are going to be playing the playoffs, it's the Knicks.
The Knicks, I believe. I would agree with you. I assume they did not agree with you.
I just saw the headline and saw them arguing about it. I go, there really shouldn't be argument.
There's no argument. You look at some of last night. They just look at some of the set. You were the Sixers were led last night by a player that we all often forget about, Paul George. Paul George led them with 17. MB just looked a little slow, sluggish, tired. Maybe still, he's dinged up as well. 3 of 11. He had 14 points. 8 of those 14 came from the line. Last night, Maxey 13. They just did not have a lot last night. Brunson, another great night for him, 35 and 3. He was 12 of 18, 8 of 8 from the line. They just got it done last night. And again, as anticipated with that one. Now, the stunner we're going to look at was last night. And the return, by the way, late edition, return of Anthony Edwards last night. Boy, that guy's a gamer. He's got it. Returning last night. Looking
on the road, that was a raucous San Antonio crowd.
They San Antonio just does it right. You mentioned it before, the way they stripe it out with the old school colors and what they've got going on. It's a night that a big time performance will get thrown out when you look at Wembanyama. 12 blocks last night. He had a triple double, 11, 15 in the 12 the blocks. On the other side, boy, look at what Randall did. 21 and 10 last night.
The performance that might not jump off the page at you, but was a big key for Minnesota, Mike Conley.
Yep.
12 points in 24 minutes. Okay.
Yep.
4 of 7 from behind the 3-point line, though.
And
plus 13.
Plus 13. Add in those 6 assists.
Yeah.
6 meaningful assists last night. He led them in that category. Anthony Edwards, a good night off the bench last night. 18 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He was 8 of 13. Did not attempt a free throw. Now, is that part of the game that he's staying away from right now with the knee? Is there a little reluctancy to get deep into the lane and get fouled? Maybe, because Anthony Edwards is one that likes to attack the rim, get there and get to the free throw line. A lot of and-ones and stuff like that. But they go and steal one last night. The Spurs had an open look late to win that game, but they lose 104-102.
And all the Teals have to do now is win their home games.
That's it.
All you got to do is win your home games, and you win the series. That's the value of game one. And it's a long series, yes.
But you get number one. You
set the tone, and now all you have to do is win your home games.
Yep.
You've claimed home court advantage.
Mm-hmm. A couple more tonight, setting the tone. The Cavs will take their team on the road against the top-seeded Pistons tonight. 3.5-point favorites are the Pistons from Caesars Arena there. And then the nightcap, this is going to be a disaster for the Lakers. I think they're headed to Oklahoma City, 15.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to be said about that series. And
unless you
somehow get Luka back, or you get a 40-point night performance from LeBron.
I would look at the Lakers plus 15.5. That's the angle I'd look at there. Because that's just a lot of points, but I wouldn't feel good doing it. I wouldn't feel confident.
Yeah, you'd go, oh, man. That's like a 5%er. It's not one you're giving a lot. You're like, that's one of those. If you're gonna do that, you like it's only because you're watching the game. Oh, it's on. But then you can also like live hedge it the other way.
Yep.
Like this is not going well. I'm going back the other way.
Well, if the Lakers can play competitively in the first half, you absolutely go hedge it the other way with the T-Wolves once that line drops.
This isn't right. This won't continue. They'll get started.
Start with the Thunder. I said T-Wolves with the Thunder. On the hockey side of things,
woo boy, I'm telling you, I was watching last night. My kid is all about where I'm from.
Carolina.
Yeah, he's all about it because it's interesting to watch. Yes, it's interesting to watch these type of sports because when I grew up there, these teams weren't there. I'm not a Panthers fan. Boy, they were like developed the year I graduated high school. Right? They didn't even play in Charlotte. My year there, and then the Hurricanes were never in existence. There was small town hockey that we like to go to, but not as much of that. But yeah, last night, some really good matchups last night. And again, I would say I watched Flyers Hurricanes. The third, we were home in time to watch the third and the overtime. That was a highly contested affair and physical. This one, man, it was electric. They get a late third period goal with a late third period goal, and that one to go to tie it. And then I think it was like 19 minutes into overtime. A little deflection and score. Game, set, match. Hurricanes go up 2-0.
Yep. And I think there's still a lot of series left there.
Oh, boy.
Carolina's a good hockey team. It's going back to Philly now.
Philly's physical enough to be in that.
I think Philly gut punch that they don't come out on top of that game when it's an overtime. Like you never know what's going to happen, but it always goes advantage home team in overtime. Philly gets this back. They take game 3. It's a whole new series. So we'll see what happens there. But that Carolina team's really stinking good.
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised to see that Carolina team come out of the East.
Yeah, and they're a good hockey team. But you all know this in sports. Momentum is the juice that stirs everything, and they're on a big run right now when you look at that team. Last night, Ducks, Golden Knights, game 1 there. Golden Knights 3-1. They looked at times. I watched a little bit of this. I watched, I think, the first part of the second period. When you watch a sport or watch a game or whatever, you look like that one looked like the Golden Knights are just better than the Ducks on the ice.
In game
just
1,
the eye test,
in game 1, there's a feeling out process, but I really thought the Ducks were going to have more life. I thought that was going to be a competitive series, but I thought the Golden Knights just kind of controlled it from the jump. Like, I don't know. I'm hoping the Ducks have a response.
Yeah, you're hoping, but it just did not feel like that. Watching part of this as I did end up going to bed, but it was 33 saves by Hart last night, and they looked pretty seamless.
And I will say, with that series, no matter what happens there, you advance to the right to go play the Avs or the Wild. Good luck.
Which tonight, by the way.
Yeah, it's tonight, 7:00.
Oh, look at that prime action for you to watch after you get off the baseball diamond.
We'll see if there's still a game to be watched once I'm off the baseball diamond. We shall see. Chances are we'll be going into the third once I'm leaving the ballpark. So we'll see if the Avs haven't run away with it by then.
That thing is, as in hockey, you tend to watch the over/under goals. Typically, you see it 4.5 to 5.5. That thing is now, after game 1, 6.5 on the goal side.
I would probably say under in this game.
I think it'll change it up for sure. It's minus 200 for the Avs in the world of the betting market right now.
And that says a lot about what this Avs team is. Because to me, like Golden Knights and the Ducks are the third and fourth best teams out of the West. It's the Avs and the Wild 1 and 2. And the Avs, that just shows what Vegas thinks in terms of how head and shoulders above the rest of the league they are this year. It's Lord Stanley or bust for the Avs this year. Simple as that. So we'll see if they can go take care of business. You expect the Wild are going to have some sort of response after letting in 9 goals. But it wasn't even like, sometimes you see that and you go, oh, the goalie must have had a bad game. he was fine. There's nothing you could do about a lot of that. Defense got to pick him up. The Avs have to clean up a lot. It was 9-6 in game one because I think both teams were a little sloppy, kind of feeling each other out. We'll see what happens in game two. I expect it to be lower scoring. I expect both teams to have a little bit more of a plan in place.
Tonight, 7 o'clock, then I look at on Wednesday. Then you'll get back. You'll have game 2 of Ducks Go Knights and the series. The Canadians and the Sabres will get kicked off as well.
Slight sticking point here. Would you like to guess when game 3 of the Avs and Wild is?
Well, what is today?
It's Tuesday today.
4th, the 5th. Sorry, my son's birthday's at the 5th. Let's see. Game 2 today.
Game 1 was Sunday.
Sunday and Tuesday. If you tell me it's like the weekend or like Monday, it's going to drive me nuts.
Saturday night.
3 nights off. 3?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Are they trying to be the NBA and get this thing into June?
Feels like it. Yeah,
Wow.
That's a long way off.
That's a long way off, especially with teams that are. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, even
is it a TV thing? Where are they at on TV? That's the question. On a Saturday night, where are they at on TV?
I don't know.
Doesn't say.
Was not something I was.
I just wonder if it's a TV market game.
I mean,
wait a minute. We got a time slot on a Saturday night. Let's play it.
Vegas and Anaheim was last night. They'll have game 3 on Friday night.
There'll be 3 games in.
There'll be 3 games in, and the time the Avs played Sunday. They'll have game 3 Saturday night. Carolina and Philly will have game 4 on Saturday night while the Avs are playing game 3.
What are we doing? Saturday night. So that'll put you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
TNT at 8 o'clock. Doesn't make sense.
Nope.
Doesn't make sense. So, all right.
Regardless, hopefully it's 2-0 Avs. We'll see.
Yep. What does make sense is taking a break, and when we come back, going to the football field with Husker Line's Brian Munson. My God. That's incredible. This is going back to the golf story just from it. We talked about the Fitzpatrick brothers winning. Okay, so he gets Alex gets a 2-year exemption, right? Which put him in that field.
Yep.
It's just amazing what things that you do that change your life. So this was, he finished 9th at the Cadillac. Good showing. Signature event. Won over $500,000, $505,000. He was supposed to play in Turkey at a DP event. If he'd have won it, he'd have won $468. But he finished 9th on the PGA Tour.
505.
Also, this stat they just put out on golf.com, his earnings on the DP World this season, whole season so far, $522,000. Okay. His earnings from the Zurich Classic and tied for 9th on the PGA Tour, almost $1.872 million. Life-changing. Thank you, Brother Matt. Thank you, Brother Matt. Crazy stories. All right, let's get up. Let's get up with Mr. Munson here coming up. Let's see what we got.
I'm just going to take a mod. I'll get him on the line here.
Brian Monson. Welcome back in the Morning Hookup. You hear the music every Tuesday. Blessing to your ears as we bring on Brian Monson from HuskerOnline.com. B, what's up?
What's going on, boys?
Nothing. Hey, we're gonna kick it off this way and ask you because I think there's perfect storms in life where dates fall together, events fall together. It would never be a sports equinox, or something. But how about today? The fact that for a lot of people, it is Cinco de Mayo on Taco Tuesday.
I tell you what, you're at the nexus of the universe, my friend. You better go out and get yourself a lottery card, lottery bingo card, whatever you want to call it. Powerball it up. I thought you were going to refer to probably what be your top talking point today too, about how wonderful of a story and just what Mo Purify the second had to endure to get to where he's at. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I'm going to let you go there because I wanted to get to that point about perfect storms. And I think that's with him because let's all go back and live it. Because I've just got goosebumps, first of all, because Mo Purify, the dad, arguably, I mean, he was a stud receiver at Nebraska, tall, big hands.
I remember they'd always bring that up on every television broadcast of how big his hands were. Here's his hands next to a banana. Look how big his hands
dude, my
are.
kid,
but he didn't drop anything.
My kid still has, we have his receiving gloves at our house. Incredible, first of all. Secondly, that arguably maybe one of the most recognizable catches in Husker history of him in the back left corner of the end zone against A&M. I was there.
I was there too.
I mean, yes. What an amazing atmosphere, first of all. But that, and now talk about the late edition. It kind of went under the radar. But first of all, because you hear about athletically how Mo Purify the second is from was it long jump? He's a track star, long jump. But then under the radar, he's like, I'm driving home and I just want to I think I'll just follow my dad to Nebraska. No big deal. But I'm going to do it like dark in the night. Like I'm going to come in like Paul Revere riding through and go, yeah, let's just sign this and get it done.
What I mean, I tell you what. So first of all, it's really kind of crazy. It's the first time ever that I've had to follow, Husker Sports Nightly for a breaking story for a commitment. First of all. So good on them, and it wasn't really like a commitment; it was a full-blown signing. Let's back up. I mean, Maurice Purify, 6'4", about 170 pounds. As the top long jumper in the state, probably has his sights set on a state record if possible. He has Metro track meet today. Things are going to be ramping up for him very, very soon. He says he's in peak shape at the moment. He's had to scratch on a couple of very recent, very good jumps in Lincoln and in Gretna very recently. So he feels like, he's really there to where he can really put up some big numbers. But he's north of 28 feet right now, which is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So but you got to go back now for football. And, things were kind of starting to take off for him, and he commits to Washington State. And then kind of out of the blue at the end of the month in September, he announces that he's decommitting. And I think that there's, decommitting might be polite. I think that there was an issue there with the school, with the coach, with Maurice. He might have been cut loose, whatever the case may be. Maurice lost his spot. And for the next several months, he endured a heck of a process because he had people just dangling spots in front of him only to find out that there wasn't a spot. He went through this time and time and time again. And then he's having this terrific, senior year when it comes to track. Nebraska goes back, does a reevaluation because, well, I mean, obviously Nebraska is offering a few new guys in the 2027 class at wide receiver. You got a pretty good looking dude in your backyard. You know, maybe that's the reason why all this stuff kind of happened in the first place. I mean, you got a 10'8", 28-foot long jump, you know, guy that caught 10 touchdowns last year for over 40 catches, you know, and he's a legacy right down the road at Westside. This checks so many boxes. It's not even funny. It checks the legacy. It checks the in-state kid. It checks just the athleticism. There's a whole thing that kind of comes together. But getting back to Mo Purify, like what you were saying, this guy is so caught off guard, you know, by this phone call about just Nebraska says, yeah, we just wanted to call you up today and offer you a scholarship. What do you got to say about that? Holy cow. Like the words, you know, the words that happened and just the whole chain of events had to be entirely surreal to him. I know that some things didn't go down the way that he had kind of hoped, but by the time that, you know, Sports Nightly had kind of announced his commitment, you know, making the announcement today that he had signed was a little bit of the cat's out of the bag. But the overwhelming sentiment here, the overwhelming feeling of him was relief. Mm-hmm. And he was getting an opportunity to go play college football and to go do it in his backyard where his dad did it. I mean, it's really poetic on so many different levels about this opportunity that he is getting to go do this in Nebraska. I mean, he'll be in Lincoln in a month, guys. I mean, this carried out that long for him. And just, I tell you what, my transcript with him, as I reread it last night, as I was doing the story to post it later today, I couldn't help myself but tell him how happy I was. Mm-hmm. Because if this was my son, you know, or if I was a little bit more closer personally to him than what I really am, I would have been bleeding out of my heart for the last, you know, 5 or 6 months, just kind of thinking about his story and just knowing that there was nothing there for him and how talented he was. I'm just incredibly, incredibly thankful and happy that he's going to get this opportunity because he's a very talented individual.
And you talk about the fact that there's so many things that line up in this recruitment that make sense for why Nebraska would take him. Mm-hmm. With that in mind, what do you think took so long? Like what was Nebraska still waiting to see through track season? And we've seen so much from him in the spring, putting up some impressive numbers. Is that all they were waiting on, or is there anything else?
No, I think where I kind of teased it a little bit. You know, and I wrote a story about it a little bit last night, you know, another part to it. I think it kind of all dovetails together with where Nebraska's kind of at with their 2027 recruiting and wide receivers. You got a potential guy that's going to decommit in your class again, another wide receiver. You know, Caden Howard very likely will not end up part of the Nebraska recruiting class, period. Just picked up an offer from Florida State, whether it was yesterday or Sunday. You know, and there's probably a pretty good reason if you were a betting man, you know, like Sorsby, you'd probably walk to the window and say, you know, give me Caden Howard not to end up part of the 2027 class for Nebraska. I would feel pretty good about that bet. I think it's going to be very difficult for the Huskers to keep him in. So if you're back to just having Tay Ellis and you're on to, you know, a few guys you're going to be bringing in for official visits, and you're also still looking at your room and you're looking at your small class for 2026, and you're probably, you know, reevaluating your numbers and what your needs are and what has, you know, I think that there's a culmination, you know, and that what happened was, you know, in the aggregate, they were able to kind of figure out that the missing piece that they needed, you know, in the room was a guy with size, with speed, you know, and if they could get a guy that was in state like that, it kind of checked all the boxes again. And I think that just when some of the stuff was kind of going sideways in 2027, having as good of a player to kind of bring in that 2026 group to take some pressure off the 2027 class was a clear answer. It was a very clear answer to go ahead and kind of do it. So I think it really took less from what Mo was going to do, you know, jumping and running, you know, when it came this spring, and more to just where we kind of are currently with kind of putting together the current class, and maybe how you can kind of, backfill maybe a shortcoming that's going to happen in the 2027 group, because you maybe can't get a guy that you feel like is going to be able to help your roster out, but you might feel like you have a better shot of getting a guy that can help you out with a guy that's just down the road at Omaha West Side.
Again, we're speaking to Brian Muntz with HuskerOnline.com. B, I want to ask you a big global question, a 60,000-foot view on recruiting, and it goes to the schedule, because we've heard Coach Rule being very bullish on the schedule, because there's been a lot of talk next year about how tough it is, and obviously you try not to keep that noise inside your locker room. But also hearing Coach Rule talk about, well, it could be a selling point, the schedule, the people, the teams, and the places you get to go. How do you feel about that on the recruiting side, saying, hey, by the way, you come to us, you get to play the national champion next year, just looking at this year's schedule. Hey, you get to play Indiana, the national champion. You get to go to Oregon. You get the chance to go play Ohio State at home. Is there any merit to that in the recruiting side?
I think that there is. I think that playing in, call it hostile, call it unique, call it special environments is something of a selling point that Nebraska can go ahead and bring up. I think the pessimist, side of that is, well, going to Eugene and going to Bloomington and going to Columbus and going to Ann Arbor, what's the likelihood that Nebraska goes in as a favorite? What's the likelihood that Nebraska comes out as a win, this year? Like, whatever you want to say, like, there is a give and take. Nebraska wants to be on the other side of that. Obviously, they want to be able to compete with those types of teams. But those types of teams that have this basically made their way into the playoffs, they're all in the Big Ten. You've got the Big Ten champions now. Last 2-3 years? It's been three-peat now. You get a chance now to play all those programs, and plus you got this budding team in Oregon, and you got UCLA, obviously, it's on the come up, and I think that those are all in USC. I'm kind of skipping over them, but I think that those are absolutely points that you can make to these guys about, you're going to travel, you're going to see these places, you're going to have a very, very, very broad base of experiences that's going to help you kind of get ready with your preparation and how you're going to have to, go east, go west to get ready to play like in the NFL. That's a very big selling point, at least to me, when it comes to how you're going to kind of prepare and how you got to get things right, and how to get your internal clock kind of changed to be able to play a game on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. How's it figured to your schedule, your clock back home? And I think that also, just like the places that you will see, the different environments, how do you deal with the competition, the higher competition, obviously going on to those places? I think that's a very big selling point. And I think obviously some of those guys, they're going to have friends and family all over the country, and that's going to give them another opportunity for somebody else to come out there and support them when they're out there playing in that part of the world.
Brian Munson with us here at HuskerOnline.com. And Brian, as you start looking ahead here to the summer that's upcoming, are there any, I know June's always a big recruiting time. There's always guys on campus, but you've seen it in the past couple of years. Nebraska tends to load up certain weekends in June. Are there any days you're looking at next month that could be load up days that we should be circling on the calendar in terms of this is going to be the recruiting weekend of June?
Well, I like the June 5th weekend. I can tell you that right now. And there's several reasons why. Nebraska obviously added Corey Hadley to their recruiting class, here in the last week or so. And you get probably what are Nebraska's top two corners to come in that weekend with Hadley. You get Jalen Hill and you get Bryce Williams to come in. So if you're really kind of putting a class together on paper with pencil, and you're putting Pittman back there and you're putting Hadley back there in the secondary, and then you start pulling in like 4-star cornerbacks like Jalen Hill and Bryce Williams, that's a pretty solid group back there. And then I think that, one of my favorite interior offensive linemen this year to kind of go along with Kyler Kuhn is Jordan Agbanoma out of Loganville, Georgia. And I think he's a monster road grader. I think Nebraska maybe is in a little bit of a dogfight with A&M, to get him. But, a guy that I just actually slid over last night from the June 12th weekend to the June 5th weekend is Kobe Rhymes. Kobe Rhymes, I think, is a very overlooked, undervalued, underappreciated linebacker out of Kansas City, North Kansas City High School. Put his film on. That guy is a playmaker. He is all over the football field, and that may be like the top linebacker that I have any kind of good feeling about that Nebraska can kind of get. They've got a guy coming in this week. They maybe get Tate Wallace to take a visit here, in the next week or so. But, there's not many things like other things going on that board. So, but then the other side of that is, a couple defensive linemen. You get like a Xavion Meads that's going to come in. So I like the June 5th weekend a lot, even though it's like a smaller number, than what the other 2 weekends are going to be. I guess if you take Ahmad Hudson off, for the next weekend now that he's committed to LSU. But I think the real big weekend is going to be the 19th, the last weekend, like it typically is. That's always kind of the way it's rolled with Matt Rule. Like the last weekend's kind of the bang up weekend and get him in. That's the weekend that Pittman will be there, and Trey Taylor and Tay Ellis and Amir Brown and etc. But you get your Timmy Alu to come in, and he's a big offensive tackle for Nebraska. And you get Matthew Gregory, who's another speedy wide receiver, who may be the only other, kind of wide receiver option that Nebraska really is looking to take in the 2027 class. So, yeah, I love the weekend of the 5th. I think it's going to get overlooked, but I think the big weekend is going to be the 19th.
Again, we're speaking to Brian Muntz with HuskerOnline.com. Well, Brian, we have to ask, obviously, it was a big up and up on the recruiting side. Nebraska does miss out on Ahmad Hudson. By the way, everybody, Brian set us up with that because we knew. He already knew this was going to be a tough get with Hudson. Just thoughts on that recruiting process of him and where now we all know that there's always a second go round sometimes. So I know it's probably closer now, but who knows in the future?
I think the fact that Nebraska failed to get him back on campus again, going back to like October or November last year really kind of sealed the deal with me. Mm-hmm. You had that freak snowstorm in Louisiana, which keeps him home. He gets the basketball USA, junior Olympic team to kind of go out and work out with them. I think you combine that with a couple of very critical head coaching changes in Baton Rouge with Kiffin and the basketball head coach that goes there. His dad is a legacy. His dad played basketball for LSU. His dad's still a high school, basketball coach at Grambling, in Grambling, Louisiana. And his dad was at the announcement of the new head basketball coach at LSU. So there's quite a connection. And obviously then LSU followed suit. Nebraska kind of separated themselves when they offered, Ahmad's little brother to come up and play football as well. And then LSU, followed through with that as well. So I think there was a kind of a checkmate thing kind of being called when just all these things kept Ahmad from getting back on campus at Nebraska. That I think really, really, really put the nail in the coffin on it. I think that you needed another weekend, where it was going to be, Ahmad with Trey and Tay and Amir hanging out with another highly rated, highly ranked group of recruits considering Nebraska, building a pack together about how they're going to put together, one of the top classes in the country. When you did not get that situation to kind of manifest itself in Lincoln, since last fall, it just made it impossible to do. And I don't think there's really anything else that Nebraska could have done other than, just give him the keys and tell him, the whole key to the city is his, come on up. I mean, I think Nebraska went toe to toe financially, and they put together, a heck of a plan to get him there. Just too many things that they were going against. And I've said this before in Tunnel Talk, and I'll say it again here on the air. I talked to a Division I coach, and there is something very, very, very difficult about getting a player out of Louisiana that LSU wants. It becomes a thing for that player everywhere they go. to hear about how they must go to LSU, whether they're going to school, to church, to the grocery store, to the gas station, etc. Everybody has a story for them, and everybody puts the screws to them about how they have to stay home and how they have to go play for the Tigers. It is a very, very, very difficult situation to get a player out of the boot, to leave the boot when LSU wants you to come to Baton Rouge.
One of the things that I don't think enough people think about, though, is the recruiting foundations that you set. And even if you don't flip a guy before signing day, they could still come to benefit you 2 or 3 years down the road as guys into the transfer portal.
Yes.
Sometimes destinations don't end up being what they want. Like, even if it's not Nebraska flipping Ahmad Hudson before signing day, it is something that could pay dividends for you years down the road.
I think Nebraska has done a terrific job that when they have missed on these guys, these high caliber, highly rated recruits that people obviously feel like Ahmad Hudson is just another one of those guys that Nebraska, finishes as a bridesmaid, but never the bride for. I think the part that gets missed is exactly what you just said. There is another way for these two to reconnect somewhere else down the line. And I'm sure that when Ahmad Hudson called Nebraska and gave them the bad news, some of the words that were exchanged during that conversation was Nebraska telling Ahmad, if it doesn't work out, give us a call. And I definitely feel like Nebraska has always made sure to let the player know that nothing on their end is being burned. And, they probably even told him that, hey, if you haven't signed anything and it's just kind of an agreement right now, you're just a nonverbal commitment, but there's no contract, we're going to still recruit you. But even if you sign with them in December, keep our number. I definitely feel like that conversation took place.
Right. Hey, I want to ask Ricky out of here, and it's a movement that has happened over the last few years in college sports. Nebraska volleyball, what they have done. I think they've single-handedly changed the way people view the sport and the way that Cook said, dream big. Thoughts on, if you saw the announcement, by the way, close to you, so you got to get your tickets for the one-night adventure. They're going to be in Arlington at Jerry's World on the 27th. It's a one-night event. They've got Penn State, Florida, Nebraska, SMU. They're playing for $1 million coming up.
Yeah. Isn't it wild?
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, I think Cook is such a trendsetter, such a trailblazer, however you want to say it. I believe he has put, volleyball on the map. And I will tell you this. I mean, in terms of like catching Nebraska athletics on television, I've had to update the programming that I will not miss. And one of those is volleyball, and the other one is softball. I can't miss Jordy Ball. I can't miss what those girls are doing. They are absolutely having one of the most terrific seasons I've ever seen before, and I enjoy watching them every single time I can catch them on television. So I do believe that what the girls are doing there at the volleyball program, what the whole university is doing, has revolutionized the game. And I think everybody is going to thank Cook in Nebraska for bringing this type of, publicity and putting the kind of money now that's found its way into basically putting together events like what you're referring to there in Arlington. So I look forward to it. I am going to look into getting some tickets. I think it'd be fascinating. I've always wanted to go see a game in Lincoln at the old Coliseum, and I could never get tickets when I was there. Never, ever, ever. Always sold out. So if it gets sold out in Arlington and I don't get a ticket, I tell you what, that's going to be a rowdy 70, 80,000 fans there. I hope I can find a ticket, though, to get in. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's always it's amazing stuff. Well, B-Man, we appreciate your time as always, hanging out with us in the Morning Hookup, man. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right, guys. Be good.
Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. Great stuff from him as always. Let's take our final break, come back with stories that we missed. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's a bad one. Let's put that on the top here. Yeah, I think there's one. They didn't put it up there. Haven't announced it yet, probably. If they go out and win that volleyball match, they just like are the trophies like just money machines
in the club.
Just
the make it rain things.
Yeah, you know, my kids have a couple of just around. I don't know where they got them. Like I think somebody gave it to them, or I don't even know. Fake money. They're just shooting it up in the air. Do you get the $1 million check? Like that's the trophy. It's one of those big, large checks.
Like the fake.
Yeah. Does it count since it's only best out of 3?
Yes. You'll see that with a lot of like high school volleyball tournaments in the summer, like it's on the AAU circuit, but you know what I'm talking about, like the private club volleyball. Whenever they get into tournament play, it's a lot of 3-set matches.
I just didn't know. It's a great.
So I will say yes, it still counts.
Okay, I'm with you. He's stuck. Couple stories out there. And this is a weird weather day. It's overcast. It's like not really windy.
Which I wish it was less windy last night.
Yeah, well, you'd have kept that ball.
On the bright side, I mean, it's probably the last game I'll get to pull out the umpire jacket this year, which is my favorite umpire fit.
Do you have the pocket
of
fit?
course.
Button? How many buttons you have to have?
What do you mean?
Do you have a button?
It's zipper.
Oh, zipper.
Well, I have.
I thought about the official like Joe
Oh,
West.
yeah.
Woo!
No,
Sport coat.
I've been
umpire.
trying to say we need to wear those for like state tournament games.
That'd be awesome.
But I'm not doing state tournament games, so I don't have much to say there.
Of course, it's like 90s.
Yeah. Where it's like the sport coat. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I'm talking the like the pullover. So there's the pullover quarter zip, and then there's the full zip one.
Yeah.
I'll probably go full zip.
Full zip tonight.
That one's warm.
Are you in the
got
field?
Fleece on the inside.
Are you behind the plate or are you out?
I'm coming straight from work, so
Are you out?
To be safe, I'm out in the field.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, we shall see. Yeah, got a little tournament going down.
Do you chat with the players when you're in the field?
I try to avoid it.
You do?
It tends to open yourself up to things that you don't want. Some umpires are big on chatting with the players. I'll shake your hand. I'll make a little comment here when it becomes necessary, but for the most part, I keep to myself out there. Coming back here.
Welcome back to the Morning Hookup. Special thanks here to Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. Few moments. So, hey, program announcement. Just a reminder tomorrow, 10:15. National Coach of the Year and Husker headman Coach Fred Hoiberg will join the show tomorrow. I might not sleep tonight. I feel anxious tomorrow. I'm excited. It'll be like his 4th or 5th appearance in the morning.
Second time I've gotten excited.
Yeah. So, yeah, join us tomorrow, 10:15. Put on your calendars. We'll have Coach along with Henry T. Buchanan. But now we're going to do stories that we missed.
The stories we missed. The Morning Hookup.
Tracking the live golf stuff is interesting to me. Right now, we know that they're going to be funded through the 26th season. John Rahm now allegedly has a deal with the DP World Tour finally. They worked it out on both sides, which makes him Ryder Cup eligible. That's a big one. for him. But they asked him questions about his future at Live Golf. This is interesting. He said, again, like you just said, as of right now, I have several years of my contract left, and I'm pretty sure they did a good job when they drafted that. He has no outs. Unless they fold up.
I mean, my lawyers have been looking over it, and I
can't get out.
And I'm screwed, man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those individuals that made that jump there to be in the same boat as John Rahm. But he apparently has a DP World Tour agreement. Again, what's the biggest thing for him is it makes him Ryder Cup eligible.
And another one, I'm not on the sports side of things, but I'm kind of geeked about it. A new trailer for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
I've not seen that.
Oh, this is going to be the movie of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
It's another Christopher Nolan massive project.
Fired up.
Apparently, the producers, whenever he pitched this one, gave him a blank check. Just go do what you have to do. All-star cast. Matt Damon. I think Timothy Chalamet's in there.
Ooh.
Should I look the cast for you?
Which it was funny because they put they were talking about Chalamet yesterday on the Twitterverse about because he's with one of the Jenners, right? Or one of the Kardashians.
Yeah, Kardashians.
One went to the Met Gala. He was at the Knicks game, baby. Made the right decision.
Excuse me, I had the wrong. Yeah, it's Tom Holland. I should have known that. Okay. Love Chalamet though.
Yep.
He's obviously doing the Dune movie right now,
yep.
which I'm also very excited for. But listen to this cast for The Odyssey. Ready? Matt Damon, Zendaya, Tom Holland,
hello,
Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson,
also hello,
John Barenthal, Charlize Theron,
hello,
Travis Scott.
Yeah.
There's another one I'm missing. Benny Safdie. Yeah.
Star-studded.
Yeah.
Trailer out. When does it due out?
Due out in June, I believe. Or July 17th. I am hyped about that movie. Anyway, the trailer came out last night. Looks good.
Good news for a lot of people. Bad news for the Detroit Tigers.
Well, I saw they had 0 fans in the stands.
Well, 0 fans, first of all. But Skubal is headed for elbow surgery. We're diagnosed with what they're calling loose bodies in the pitching elbow. Man, that is a bad situation just on all fronts for the Tigers and looming free agency for a dominant left-handed pitcher over the last few years.
Yeah, and he was looking weird the other night whenever he was out there. He was like shaking his elbow around a little bit, and he like took off his glove and looked like he might leave the game, ended up staying in. But the latest I've seen online from doctors that are chiming in here say they're expecting a 2 to 3 month recovery.
Yep. I just read that. It said
so probably post All-Star break.
Yep. It said that usually costs them 2 to 3 months. They won't know until they get it all done.
Mm-hmm.
Just unfortunate news for a really good pitcher with free agency looming for him. No bueno. Oh boy, that's bad. Let's see. What else we got out there? Tonight there's hockey going on. There's some hoops going on. We'll have, again, mentioned tomorrow, Henry T. Buchanan, Coach Fred Hoiberg. I can't say it enough.
And hey, let's not forget YZ.
YZ gets a chance.
Post Cinco de Mayo.
Ooh. I'll send an early morning text out. Well, that's right. Well, he won't be out. Unfortunately for him, it sounds like it won't be like a partaking situation. He is providing the service.
Oh yeah,
part of tonight.
Yeah, but that post shift, hopefully margarita's got to hit different.
Hopefully, it's a better situation for him than it's been in. So you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Tuesday. Again tomorrow, Husker legend Henry T. Buchanan, head man, national coach of the year, Coach Fred Hoiberg tomorrow in the morning hookup at 10:15, and a whole lot more. Have a great Tuesday. We'll catch you on a hump day.